everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps, and hit the little bell too so you'll be sure to be notified. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And this is the last video, the last episode for the week of General Hospital. And I hear tomorrow Science and National Geographic is going to have some great programming, so we should definitely all tune into that. So let's get right to today's recap. So at the wedding, it's reception time, and Nina and Griffin are at the bar. They talk Charlotte, and Nina says they should all get along, which is just so nice that everyone can be in Charlotte's life but Lulu. So nice. Sorry that the voice gets a little high when I'm annoyed. Griffin, and then she asks him, like, not to mention Claudette, and Griffin's like, why? And she's like, because Claudette is dead. But, like, she doesn't want to say it. He kind of coaxes that out of her, so it's a little flippant with that. So he asks what happened, and Nina doesn't want to tell him. She says to talk to Dante and Lulu, and he's like, I don't want to ruin their evening. So Nina is like, well, she drowned in a river, and apparently it's suicide. And Griffin's like he's beside himself. Like, Claudette meant a lot to him. Spinelli announces the new happy couple, and they have their first dance. Anna is then having more memories, and Andre talks with her, but not about the memories. He's just, she's like his only friend there now. And now it's time for the father-daughter dance, and Maxie makes a point to say that she knows, like, Mac is always there for her and always has been there for her, no matter what she calls him. It's just a really touching moment, and we just need more touching moments in this world, right? I can make the hearts move, I think, maybe. Yeah, hearts everywhere. I'm trying something new. So Nathan dances with Obrecht Liesel. I should probably start calling her Liesel. She talked to me on Twitter like a year ago, and she's like a person now, so she has been for a while. So with Liesel, I won't be used to that, and she's happy that they are able to have a relationship, because she never thought she'd be able to have a relationship with her son. Now everyone's gonna dance, woo, dance party. But Griffin is suffering in silence at the bar because he's just been devastated. Because who doesn't want to hear that, the person they once loved is dead at the bottom of a river, but not in the river anymore. Woo, woo. The eyes of the voice, they just woo, so high. Felicia talks with Andre because she hears that he's an amateur archaeologist, and boy, does she have a story for him. Charlotte goes outside to see Polaris because it's her star, and honestly, I like this girl more and more. And then Valentine goes outside with her, and it's like, oh, it's a little cool for stargazing, this, that, and the other thing. So she goes inside, and he's still outside, and he says something about the stars, like it's really, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. And if you heard that and make any sense of it, please let me know, because I'm like, what? And then Griffin comes outside and gets all in his face about killing Claudette. And Charlotte hears all that because she's looking through the door, and Griffin all has him oh, I know you killed Claudette, and all that fun stuff. So then Lulu sees Charlotte run and follows her, and Charlotte's crying in a closet. So Lulu gets Charlotte to open the door and hand her a towel, and it's really cute. And then Lulu comes to talk with her, and she's trying to gently talk with her, she's really good with her, and she offers that Charlotte can talk to her, and Charlotte's like, I miss my mom, and I'm like, Lulu is going to see her opportunity, I just know it. Whether or not it's going to be the right decision, only time will tell. And back on the outside terrace, whatever, Valentine punches a Griffin, and then he beats him pretty bad. He grabs him and does that knee to the gut thing a few times, which can cause major internal bleeding. But I guess, only one of them's a doctor, and it's not Valentine, as far as I know. And then Anna runs out, sees what's happening, and slaps Valentine across the face and calls him a vicious thug. And Valentine's like, that's what you always say about me. And then the mask totally slips, and he goes, it's not I wouldn't call it a stutter. I really just think it's this, it's trauma that causes him to totally revert into this person that we don't even recognize. Do the hearts get bigger if my face is closer? No. That's just an optical illusion. Anyway, sorry. So Anna is like, Griffin isn't a professional fighter. He doesn't know how to fight like you. That wasn't fair. And then Anna calls him a twisted coward. And then, the twisted really, gets to Valentine. And he says that he never mattered to her. And, since when do defenseless men ever matter to her? And then she has another memory with, like, the, kind of the voice I can't, like, the traumatized voice he has. And when, like, there was no mask, and it seems clear to her now, and I'm like, well, at least it's clear to one of us, okay, Anna? Meanwhile, inside, they're doing the cake tradition, and it's bouquet time, and Emma catches the bouquet because Lee's, oh yeah, I guess we're there, gets distracted when someone shouts, oh, look, it's David Hasselhoff, and of course, I'm sorry. German or not, if someone says, oh, look, it's David Hasselhoff, you're looking. Unless you're Emma, apparently. Anyway, so back at J. Sam's place, Elizabeth comes over and wants to talk to Sam. And I'm like, girl. And she says, Franco's in trouble. Why would Sam care? And Liz is like, fine, pretend I'm talking about someone else, someone you can help. I'm like, what are you doing? So she says Franco is protecting the real killer of Tom Baker, Alexis, which this goes over just about as well as you want. Let me change the filter now. It's not appropriate for what we're talking about. Back in the snow now. So she tells her the whole saga, and, like, basically it's just as simple as Liz putting together the clues and then seeing a really sad Alexis. And I'm like, okay, soap opera magic there. Just sprinkle a little soap opera magic. So Sam says that she knows her mother, and that's not something her mother would do. Like, who does Elizabeth think she is? And she's like, yeah, my mom's in a rough patch, but, like, she's not a murderer. And Elizabeth is like, I'm sure she was trying to defend herself. Like, this conversation, I mean, there was no other way for it to go, though, because if Elizabeth was intent on having this conversation, it wasn't going to go over well, no matter what. In the office of who knows where, it's Olivia Jerome. I'm not wearing the robe, unfortunately. It's all the way over there. And I'll be like, I know. And she wants to talk about everyone's future. So Julian says he's not going to kill Jason. And she's like, fine. Apparently, what happened with Leo, it was all sugar pills. Like, he was never actually in any danger. I'm sorry, the kid got his stomach pumped. I don't care if you're unconscious for that or not. That's going to hurt. And that's traumatic. Like, I mean, I've never had my stomach pumped, but from what I've heard, it's not fun. And she says she has uses for Julian, and she can't have Jason figuring out who she is. So Julian's like, first of all, Jason has a partner who's in-laws with the police commissioner. So if I or anyone kills Jason, it's just going to validate that Jason was on the right track, and it's going to out you sooner. Plus, Sonny is probably going to beat these charges if they even stick to him, and then you'll have an enemy of Sonny. Like, this is not what you want to do. Even if Sonny does get put in Pentonville, he has a long reach. So, again, not something she wants to do. But if she pins the car bomb on someone else, everyone will then have their resolution and be off her scent. Like, they won't care about her. So she seems to like that idea, but she's not an overly enthusiastic person from what I'm learning. This is my first, real interaction with her. So, like, I'm just getting to know her. But I'll see if I can find clips back when, like, she was on General Hospital. Anyway, she sees that he would do anything for his children, and she wishes she knew what that felt like, and she was cheated. And apparently she's been in exile, and he says that she can still have all those things, and she's going to seek revenge on the people who wronged her first because she's the queen. And then after Julian leaves, she opens his cabinet, and, like, I wouldn't call it a shrine, but I wouldn't not call it a shrine, so I'm going to go with shrine-ish, a thing to Duke, and, like, that she'll make Julian pay for what he did to him. And, like, we're going to get more into that in, like, 2 minutes. But, I mean, I don't I want a path to Duke being back so badly. And, like, I kind of see a door opening here, but it might just be, like, wishful thinking. It's probably wishful thinking. It's, like, 99% wishful thinking. Let's move on. So at Alexis's place, because that's what it is. Alexis is reading her 12 Steps book and has cooking wine in front of her. And Ava barges in and asks where Julian is, and apparently he's missing. Okay, he didn't answer some of your texts. Like, he's not missing. Chill. Ava is going to wait there, even though she wasn't invited to wait there, and they have important business to discuss. I wrote discuss because Olympics are always on the mind. Ava quickly points out the cooking wine, Ugh, I can't with her. I can't. So she won't stop Alexis from drinking, and Alexis is like, no, I'm not drinking. And Ava thinks that she's playing Julia for a fool and that he's enabling her by being silent. Basically, she can be in everyone else's business, but someone comes for her and suddenly it's like, no, no, no. But that's just me projecting my not liking onto her. Anyway, she won't let up, and she says that Alexis isn't ready for sobriety. And then Alexis turns it on her and says that she always has a martini in her hand, and Ava's like, whatever. And then Alexis is like, whatever. And Ava wants her to have a heart-to-heart with her daughters and, like, kick Julian out, and then she'll really be better. Yeah, okay. And also, yeah, Ava's, like, now the expert on how everyone else should live their lives. Okay. Julian comes home, and Ava immediately talks with him about this new woman and what kind of trouble they're in. I'm sorry, you got out of the business. So, like... No, they. And now end scene. So the reception is over and the happy couple is leaving, presumably for their honeymoon. Ava asks Julian who this mysterious woman is, and he tells her to stay out of it. And she says about Sam that Sam's not staying out of it. And he says, look, you should stay out of it. She's like, you're scaring me. He's like, you should be scared. Olivia, okay. Jerome, who I'm assuming this is, so has all these pictures of Duke in this cabinet armoire thing, and she says like they could have had a beautiful life together, and blames Anna. And then we have like legit flashbacks, and like I'm so excited because these have to, the last time she was on was like the 80s, right? So these have to be from the 80s. So cool. So Anna in the flashback is telling her not to fill Robin's head with her demented perversions, and that she's not allowed to scare her child. She can't frighten her child. And Olivia, she keeps coming back with just like, I was, or something like that. And then Anna apparently was pregnant at the time of this conversation, because she mentions that her child's fine, and she's going to make sure her child's going to stay fine. And now back in present day, Olivia's vowing that Anna will suffer and suffer and suffer. So she's looking at this wedding picture that has Duke and her, and I'm looking at it closely, and I'm like, oh my goodness, she has taped her face over the picture of Anna. Like, what are we dealing with here? It's just, like, I don't know. I bring Duke back, it'll make it even more interesting. I wouldn't mind. They bring enough people back, I wouldn't mind. Please bring Duke back. Please, please, please. I don't know, I can kind of picture him in, like, exile somewhere, that, like, maybe she's keeping him, and, like, I mean, she's holding against Julian for, like, attempting to kill, like, or, like, maybe he's not the same, and, like, I don't know, I can picture this whole thing, and I know it's not gonna happen, but I'm holding on to it with my little heart, okay? Back to, reality. Julian asks Alexis how things went, and the conva, I wrote conva, I was going to say conversation, and then I don't know what happened. The conversation quickly turns to Franco, that's where that was going, and she doesn't know how she's going to handle it if he's arrested. Like, drunk, she'd be fine, but sober, she doesn't know. And Julian says that she doesn't have to do anything alone, and she's like, and I'm like, and he's like, Sam has Elizabeth clarify. So Elizabeth thinks that, if Alexis was the one, which, she's saying she was, that killed Tom Baker, she would have had to suffer at his hands first. Like, it would have definitely been in defense, and she's going to need help. That, that Elizabeth felt, that Sam felt, and I'm like, that is tricky, like, cobblestones you're walking on there, mentioning that, especially when, and now, back to the terrorist, Anna's memory, she didn't want to celebrate her birthday with him, and she looks at him, and it's Valentine, but, like, he's in, I don't think it was a turtleneck, but it just, I feel like it was a mock neck, not that that makes a difference, but, he's really different, and his hair's disheveled, and he's really, like, introvert, like this, and he's holding something, like, he's very, and he's, like, crying. And then back, like, now today, she says, like, oh, she remembers, and she's crying. And I'm like, what is the story here? Like, I need it. I need the story. Lulu talks to Charlotte about missing her own mom and how empty and lonely it could feel. And she then tells Charlotte that she still has a mom and it's her. She's her mom. And how's Charlotte going to take the news? We don't know, because that's where it cuts off. And we're not going to... My phone cut off. We're not going to find out till Monday how Charlotte takes the news. But I am so excited for Monday. It's not even funny. And I will see you Monday for more General Hospital. And I hope you have a great weekend. If you want to do some guess the date... I don't know where my calendar went. I think it fell over here. But the guess the date game, if you want to leave some predictions or guesses in the comments, I have some, suggestions in the description. Keep it as vague as, or whatever, specific as you want. I couldn't remember the word. But in any event, I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you Monday. Bye.